We had emailed to you a copy of today's agenda. So I have a motion to accept the agenda as prepared.
So moved.
Mr. Hurst moved. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Mrs. Casson? Any changes? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Mr. Beeler? Mrs. Castleman? Yes. Mr. Hurst?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes. Move this around. Approval of the minutes. You had emailed at the same time copies of the regular meeting held October 26, 2010. Have a motion to accept the minutes as presented, please. Mr. Martin, have a second?
Second.
Mr. Beeler. Any changes, comments, questions? Hearing none, have roll call, please.
Mr. Beeler?
Yes.
Mrs. Castleman? Yes. Mr. Hurst?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes. This time we will have public comments. Anyone who has filled out a public comment form, you will have 3 minutes to make comments to the commission. And Secretary, please.
The first person is Gladys Thompson, and if you would come over here to the podium and speak to the microphone, we'd appreciate it.
I think everyone can hear me. I'm a retired teacher and principal. I don't have any children in this system, but I care about education. What is the greatest asset this country and this community has? It's our children. And they need to be educated in a global economy. They need to be able to compete. They need to be creative, to have the background, the education that's required in today's world, which is more than it was in our day. And my husband was also a teacher, and over 50 years ago, he and teachers from Cincinnati went to the legislature and said, let us find a different way instead of property taxes for funding education. And it's high time the PTAs and the boards and everybody went to the legislature and demanded some action and not cut more of our schools or try to deprive our children of the very education that we need, since we are now 12th in the world in the quality of our education. I think it's past time that we did something drastic, and I hope we will.
The next person is Ann Tabor.
Hello, I have 3 boys in the school district, a 1st grader, 4th grader, and a 10th grader, so I'm in this for the long haul, as a lot of us are. Our concern with the meeting that we had last month was on the assumption that the levy would pass and nothing was decided with the committee. As we sat there and listened to the meeting, thinking we'd have a way to speak at the end, nothing was decided. Our concern tonight is that we will leave with still having no answers. It's so much stress being in a family, talking with your neighbors, talking with your friends, talking with people, and never having an answer. That's the worst part of all of this. And part of the problem too is the fact that no matter what our school district sends to our residents, if it has Little Miami levy posted on it, they're throwing it in the garbage. They're not even reading it. It could say, you won $1,000, come to school tomorrow at 2 o'clock and pick it up. Nobody would show up because I firmly believe people who don't care are not reading the materials. And if something came from the state and something came from the state of Ohio Department of Education saying, this is what you're facing, folks, this is the problem that you have, and now the news is telling us that we have disillusion on the board and other schools are aware of this situation coming up, you better believe they're going to get behind the backs of each other discussing this, because they don't want this problem that we have. We can't control our own residents. How are they going to be able to control that too? So a lot of us just want a direction and an answer. So when we leave today, good news or bad news, we've got something that we can hold to, because this not knowing is 2 years too long of not knowing this.
Dunbar.
Good afternoon. Thank you for letting me speak with you today. First off, I would like to share some information with you regarding the recent press surrounding our district. At our last meeting, Board of Education, Dan and Sean were going through the discussions of our 5-year forecast and millage options that we would be required to give us a positive cash flow in the 5th year. And some of the what-if scenarios were put up there. As you know, Little Miami will reach our borrowing capacity by July of 2012. But we will not be able to operate the 2012-2013 school year without the passage of a levy. There has not been anything like this situation in Ohio public school history. Ohio Revised Code 3311.29 is the only law that gives us a clue as to what might happen if the next levy cannot pass. And we've reached our borrowing capacity. I'm going to paraphrase this, and it says, no school district shall exist which does not maintain within the school district, within such district, public schools consisting of grades kindergarten through 12, and any such existing school district does not maintain such schools that shall be dissolved, and its territory joined with another school district or districts by order of the State Board of Education, if no agreement is made among the surrounding districts voluntarily, which order shall provide an equitable division of funds, property, and indebtedness of the dissolved school district among the districts to be received. To be clear, Little Miami is not pursuing dissolving, but realizes it is a possibility if we reach the point where we cannot borrow enough money to continue operation. Little Miami will continue to seek operating money, but in tandem, it is responsible for our district to do the right thing for the 4,100 students we serve to prepare it for dissolution if a levy does not pass. With that, our Board of Education has sent out a letter to the 6 surrounding school districts to request a roundtable discussion in January to talk about the complex issues that will be of concern to all of us if a levy is not passed. And I will give that to you. Secondly, I know your job is to make us fiscally sound. That is the task you were given. You have been through our books, you have stated that we are fiscally responsible, and you have stated that this is a revenue issue, and I appreciate that very much. I know Dan and Sean will cover how we feel about additional cuts, and as you look at those, please reflect on the State Board of Education's vision statement. The State Board of Education's vision is for all Ohio schools to graduate from the pre-K to kindergarten educational system with the knowledge, skills, and behaviors necessary to successfully continue their education and or be workforce ready and successfully participate in the global economy as a productive citizen. It is very similar to the Little Miami mission statement. The board believes that it's the responsibility of the school system to ensure that each graduate is prepared to be successful in the world of work and to succeed at a higher level of education. To these ends, an environment of high expectations and opportunity shall be created that fosters scholarship, citizenship, and develops within each student the ability to become productive and responsible member of society. I have included, that I'll hand out to you for your review, our high school course offerings from 2009, with all the strikeouts of the courses that we've had to eliminate due to the last 7 levy failures. The pressing issue now is whether or not our district can sustain an environment of high expectations and opportunity to educate the children at a level where we are preparing them to be successful. If the levy does not pass, to stay true to our mission, we need to be prepared to however best to give our 4,100 students the chance to have a solid childhood education. Thank you.
houses in my district that happen to fall in the Little Miami School District over in Claremont County. I represent 17 counties and 8,811 square miles. The opinions I'm going to express on my own do not reflect the opinion of the Ohio State Board of Education as a whole body. But I'm going to tell you this, I won't vote to close your school district. You're the 28th wealthiest school district in the state and the 16th lowest tax in real estate taxes. You need to buck up and pay it. I have family that lives in this district. My better half is a graduate of Little Miami High School. She has a PhD. She's got a brother with an MD and a PhD. The lowest college degree in her family is a master's. There is quality education occurring in this district. Despite all your fiscal problems, the teachers you have still brought your students to a level where they tested excellence. I'll own up that the state's partially responsible for your problem. Because I know a lot of elderly folks in this community who look at this building as the Taj Mahal. Because when they went to high school, they had a two-hole outhouse. And they think this is really grand and you're trying to run a Cadillac program on a Chevy budget. Well, the truth is, this is the Chevy budget in the state. We have rebuilt 40% of the schools in the state in the last 12 years. Up until a year ago, we spent $1 million a day building new schools in Ohio, and we've upped it to $2.6 million a day in the last year in order to try and help keep the economy afloat and the building trades working. But the truth is, that money came from a tobacco settlement fund thanks to the hard work of Betty Montgomery. And we're riding on the glory of that money. But that's committed strictly to buildings, facilities, because of the DeWalt lawsuit. And someone pointed out here earlier, we need to find another way to fund schools besides real estate tax. So every time you say the state should pay, when you get up in the morning and brush your teeth, you look in that mirror and say, who is the state? And the answer is looking right back at you. You are the state. When Dick Celeste was governor of this state, the state budget had 18% of its money allocated to K-12 education. If you take out all the federally mandated programs that the state has no choice to fund, education K-12 represents 54% of the current state budget. Okay, we're spending more money than we ever have before in education. But you need to match up to other communities. And I'm not asking you to be the Cadillac or the Rolls Royce or the BMW. But you've got great teachers, and they need your support. And you've got great students because they're your family and your neighbor's family. If you don't have a kid in school, somebody on your street does. If you don't want them to become a juvenile delinquent, they need to go to school and learn what's right and what's wrong. So please, please, talk to your neighbor who voted against the levy and just say, what do you think will happen to this community if the schools implode? What will happen? You know, we talked about the dissolution of the districts. There used to be separate buildings. This is now the state plan with these mega buildings. It's going to be really hard for Loveland to run one building and somebody else to run another. You know, Kingsville's to run the other. It's just not going to be happening. Last time we dissolved the school district in the state was in 1974. And I'll tell you what, I will vote to dissolve Youngstown and Dayton and Cleveland before I vote to dissolve Little Miami. You have the resources, use them. Thank you.